verifying it right now. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. I am here with Rob and Josh, the creme de la creme of Metaverse dev teams, here with the Cornucopias group. And this video has been coming for a while because there's all kinds of fun, juicy stuff. I've been always blowing them up about, asking them this, and they just say, "Shut the hell up. We're too busy for you." And then they pop up like, "Hey, Crow, let's go live, and I guess we'll answer a couple of your questions while we've got a minute." So welcome, guys. Glad to have you on.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here. It's always good to see you and talk to you. I know you have so much passion for our project, and you ask us a lot of questions. And as you know, it's a friendly, hey, crap, we've got, like, there's only so much we can handle.
I was totally making that shit up. The only question I ever actually ask is when build. That's all I ever cared about. When build. When am I running around my dome building my whatever the hell I'm going to build in that thing?
Yeah, I'm only messing with you guys. I can't wait for that either. You know, to answer that question though, for the community as well, for those of you that are custom dome holders, we can't get there any quicker. Like, that's one of the areas that we really want to, that's something that we're all passionate about. But the core game loop has to be in place before we could start building out the segmented teams for something like that. So definitely sometime in 2025 is what we're targeting. And we really want to, as we're able to start ramping up that team, it is high on Rob and I's list. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we've got tons already planned, and a lot of the gameplay, well, some of the gameplay for those domes we're developing for the huge lands. So we are building it. We're just building it kind of, first in the background.
I mean, it's a significant undertaking. I mean, when you see how long it's taken other MMOs, not even blockchain related MMOs. I mean, it's taken many of them years and years to get so far, and that's definitely got to be a struggle for you guys, because especially like people that are coming over from the MMO community, and then you're trying to kind of meld that with the crypto community. So you've got a whole bunch of people that love the game style mixing with a bunch of people that want everything right now. You know, it's like, I'm used to putting $100 into some random address and getting $1,000 out tomorrow. Damn it. I want more NFTs. I want them now. It's just like the mentality of all of us. And I'm a degen too. That's why I always tease you guys when build that, because, I got so tired of playing No Man's Sky, and I'm like, damn it, I wish Cornucopias was ready to go. I'd rather build on that and start doing content there. So
there's a good example. I mean, how long did that take, game?
Shit, they're still building the damn game. They launched it unfinished.
Over 10 years.
They'll release after 5 to 8 years, and then after that, it's still growing kind of thing. But it's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely, but there's so much happening with what you guys are building, and I'm trying to find my breakdown. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I've got my little breakdown of things. I got a whole list of things I want to cover with you guys while you're here today.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, man. I will add this in terms of timing. While it does take time to build something of this quality, and if you look at MMOs and traditional mainstream game costs to produce something of this vision size, it's upwards of 40 million to 150 million. So the cost is enormous, but also the amount of time typically is at least 5 years before they'll release anything at all. And I think that we've done an incredible job of delivering. We're in pre-alpha. We have a game that you can go play right now. It's NFT gated at the moment, but we've done a remarkable job of really delivering quickly. And that's a testament to two things. That's a testament to the team being incredibly passionate, highly motivated, and skilled. But that's also a testament to Unreal Engine 5.3. We're on the cutting edge of tech, and it has created some efficiencies for us that'll enable us to produce the level of quality of almost realistic graphics, along with still having a highly performant game and doing it quickly with efficiency. So there's a lot to that, but and I just want to comment on the time it takes. So the beauty is that we're going to be releasing quite a bit this year still. The land grab's coming up, etc. So exciting stuff ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the land grab is going to work too, because I mean I know I have a mythic large land on one wallet, and I think I have a few other land masses on another one, and I got to
Oh,
figure
you
out
got a
what that other
mythic.
one is.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
no, I've
nice.
got 4 or 5 plots of land coming, so and they're all different. Like I think I got a couple commons. My mythic is my main one. I mean I bought all of them on the secondary market because as soon as they go live, everything was sold out in minutes, and I'm just not
Yeah,
that fast.
it was
So then I
nice.
had to go out and like try and buy whatever I could. But no, I'm definitely excited to have those, and it's funny because I also have land and sandbox, and I don't even give a shit about those right now. Like I am excited about this thing kicking off. I want to go do the land grab. I want to plant my flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I remember the movie. Was it Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman? Where the beginning of the movie they're all on their horses and sticking a flag in the dirt. Are we going to do something like that, or
Man,
how's that
it's
going to
funny
work?
you use that analogy. I wish we were going to do that. What we are going to do is it will be something where you get to go into the land and explore ahead of time, but then the actual land selection will not be a race because we want to make it as fair as possible for people all over the world that'll be grabbing their claim. So it really boiled down to, yes, that would have been the most exciting is that there's a ribbon cutting and everybody just starts sprinting towards it. However, and that was something I really pushed for in the beginning as well, but like it's just we want to make it fair because the land selection is a huge part. So the cool thing is we will definitely give you guys time to get in and explore Solace and figure out where you want to be. You might want to pick 10 top properties that you want to get to, but it's going to take some time, some exploration time to run around and figure out what you want. But
Yeah,
how is that going to be? How are the parcels going to be broken down?
Yeah.
So you're saying is the land grab going to be in game, or is it going to be on an external game map?
So what we're doing is all the land plots have been placed by our developers and our artists. That they've built the whole land, or all these 3 worlds that we're releasing to begin with, Solace 1, 2, and 3. They're all 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers, and everything on there has been hand placed, not procedurally generated. You know what? They've studied the geography and that. And so not next build, the one after, you'll be able to go in, choose whether you want to go into Solace 1, 2, and 3. And you'll have a couple of weeks where you can go and see where the land plots have actually been carved out. And then a few weeks later, we will have an equivalent of that on the website, because not everybody has access to the game. Not everybody has, the PC specs and everything. So you will actually be able to do the land grab on the website, and it will be in the order of the rarity. So the mythics will get to choose their land plot first, then the legendaries, then the rares, then the uncommons, and then the commons. But it's going to be really interesting because you've got these 3 solaces that all share the similar artwork, but completely different layouts. Some are near, some of the land plots are near mines. Some of them are away from everyone. Some of them are grouped together. Some of them are near fishing spots and all kinds of play. And the NFTs that we sold are for 3 theme zones. So each of these theme zones have 3 of these giant worlds. So that's 9 giant worlds in total. And this first land grab is for Solace. So those that don't get a land plot in Solace, maybe they want to wait for Esperanza, which will come later this year. So we'll have a second land grab. And then towards the end of the year, we're hoping we'll have the other 3 worlds of fortune ready. So all these different theme zones are completely different styles.
What will ultimately be the benefit of, like, because I'm kind of tempted to go out into the marketplace and even pick up some more plots, just because now we're getting closer to being able to select them. So now that's got my FOMO kicking in a little bit. I'm like, well, because I have 9 plots on Sandbox, they're all connected. So I've got a 3x3, and I'm like, how much land do I need in Cornucopias, because I'm still not 100% sure what all I want to do with it, because obviously if I have the dome, I'm thinking about it in terms of, okay, so I have this dome, what can I do with the other land down below to help promote what I've got going on in the dome, right? So it's almost like, how many satellite offices do I want to have all throughout? Like what are the benefits of having land in this Solus 1 as compared to 2, 3, however many more there are? Like are there any like primary key?
Different type of gameplay.
Significantly different experience, because the theme zone properties are more for gameplay and being involved in the curated domes that we've created. So that's what those are. So Solace is where you're going to be doing crafting on your land and going fishing and exploring and participating in the in-game economy in a different way. And so there's a reward structure around that where landholders can earn and things like that by working their property. And that could change based upon the rarity of the land, et cetera. The custom domes, that is more for a entrepreneur, for a content creator, for somebody who wants to create and build on their own. And that's a completely different field, but it's still going to be in Cornucopias. So somebody would still be able to fly to your custom dome, provided you've branded it in a way and they can find it. They can come and fly to your custom dome and experience whatever it is that you've created, Jason. So when the time comes, so that's I think what I would say is the difference between the two. Hopefully that answered your question.
Well, I meant not necessarily between the dome and the land, but like Solus 1 compared to Solus 2 to Solus 3. So if Solus 1, I would consider that kind of like the Genesis world, where if you're saying that the bulk of the mining and the resource obtaining resources and things for everything else you're wanting to do in Cornucopias is ultimately going to stem around Solus 1, and then Solus 2 is going to be more, whatever that, like, is each one specific to a use case?
All the theme zones, they'll all have fishing, they'll all have mining, they'll all have crafting. They're in different art styles, but what you will have is you'll have different types of, say, fish. The fish that are in Solace will be different from the fish that are in Esperanza, because Solace is more like a Colorado kind of flowing hills, whereas Esperanza is more of a desert scene. So you'll have different types of kind of hardy fish that you won't have in Solace. So if you live in Solace, you'll be able to trade those fish in somewhere like Esperanza or Fortune, where they don't have those types of fish. So maybe the trading of those might be more valuable, because you're going to have to do more work to get them to other zones. You're going to have to fly to them, whereas they'll be more common in your local zone. So we'll have all this kind of district versus district, sector versus sector, and theme zone versus theme zone gameplay. So it's going to be really interesting to watch this economy grow out, because you'll have kind of macro and all kinds of different economies going on there.
The bigger the better for me. I talk a lot of when I talk to other people about this, and I talk about how Entropia Universe was, or probably still is. I'm sure it's still going. It was, the entire game was kind of a real cash economy game, and this was before NFTs or any of that kind of thing. And so, and it's just like everything in that game is a business. You know what I mean? But it was the idea that you can capitalize on your time in the game world that drove it so much, even during a time when the graphics were terrible and the engine wasn't that great. And you know what I mean? But it was just the economy inside it that really drove a lot of people to playing it. And I see so much potential in Cornucopias. It's ridiculous. It's just, I wish I could snap my fingers and just say it was all done tomorrow so I could dive into it and tell the world to screw off.
But I think it's a really good kind of segue to talk about that, because you're talking about a traditional Web 2 game. You've put all those hours in, hundreds and hundreds of hours, all that sweat. You've now turned the game off, and everything's closed within that game. Whereas with Cornucopias as a Web3 game, because you own the land as NFT, you actually own that land plot. If in the future you've built it up and you say, right, I'm quite happy now, I want to sell it on to, or move away onto maybe a different land plot, you can do. It's built in. It's built into Web3 at the start. We're not going to ban you if you sell your account, if you sell your land, like would happen in Web2. We encourage you to sell up and move on if that's what you want to do.
Well, I honestly, and this is something that I'm curious if anyone out there has even thought of yet, because I remember I asked you guys, like, am I going to be able to build my own land? Like, am I going to be able to build the buildings I want and make it look the way I want and all of that? Or am I going to have to like hire a team? Like in Sandbox, you have to basically hire a team to work with their shitty tools to try and build anything. Yeah. And somebody quoted me $80,000 to build on my land to do what I wanted, and I'm like, you're out of your goddamn mind, like that. Forget that. But what I can see, especially if the tools are easier to use and more intuitive, and I can actually go in and build things. I can see this almost becoming a thing like flipping websites, where people will buy land, build it into something, market that land for what it's been built to do, or like whether it's a look or whatever. Even like in wargaming, right? You've got people that it's like, yeah, we all love to play that like War Machine or Warhammer, but maybe we don't have the time to paint our models, but we want the models to be painted if we're taking them to a tournament. We pay somebody else to paint the models for us so we can represent it's already done for us, right? And I see a lot of opportunity for people that really started. I mean, there's so many things that there's so much potential in how this is going to pull people in from all over the world on a consistent basis. Because I could even see myself doing that as a fun thing, where I go in, I buy a plot of land, it's empty. I build it up into something and then I flip it, and I'm like doubling
my money. With the theme zones, you won't be crafting and building your own building or house in the way that you would with a custom dome. With a custom dome, you'll have building kits of a variety of different types that enable you to really get custom with it, right? Okay. So we'll have all sorts of building kits. But with the theme zones, it'll be more like choosing from a different select list of properties, because there's a lot more complexity to that with the MMO and in all of that's entailed. But we might get there at some point with theme zones, but just I wanted to make sure that was clear. But yes,
okay, that's a good point.
Agree with you. We want you to be able to create and build and participate in the economy, and all of that. We're going to push the limits as far as we can with everything that we do.
Yeah. What sort of structures will I be able to have on the Solus land?
Yeah, so you'll be able to have farmhouses, hotels, you'll have crafting stations, you'll have all kinds of other items. The theme zones is an MMO, so you're providing the infrastructure for other players to come on and work on your land, and you're fitting in with a district. So you're very much this decentralized, play on your own or play as part of a team. So you're all building your district together, and you've got district versus district.
So it's going to be like a guild. Like I know, was it Corn Mafia? I think they call.
Yeah, it could be guild participation, or you just could participate on your own. But either way, in the district that you're in, you'd be collaborating. But I didn't want to cut Rob's chain of thought off there, because that's more of the community spirit MMO style life simulator on the theme zone side. Okay. And Rob started to allude to the different industry types or different types of structures you could put on your property. There's even phases to that. And I don't know if you wanted to go into that a little bit more, Rob, or not, but there's levels.
The more alpha, the better. Let's pull it all out of you right now.
Yeah, so let me just go and grab it up. But you'll be able to specialize if you want in different industries. So maybe you want to a tannery, or maybe you want to specialize in woodwork or metalwork. You'll go down these different paths, and because you're part of a district and you've got these other players in there, you obviously can't have too many people that are specializing in one area, because then you won't get the foot traffic. So if you're there first, well, then that's great, and then other people have to work around you. So we'll have all this as well. You are building a community up. You can't have say too many people that are just selling fish unless you're right next to a lake. But so you're providing infrastructure. In a traditional game, that infrastructure, those land plots, would just be part of the game. They'd be owned by the game, and they would just develop whatever the gameplay is built into. But all the different players are talking to each other, and they're building their different districts up, however that looks, depending on the geography. So that's the whole MMO infrastructure, and those landowners will be rewarded accordingly, because you are providing, as we say, infrastructure for our game. So people will be coming on your land, they'll be earning XP for themselves, but they'll actually be earning XP for your land. So your land becomes a player as such, and as your land levels up, so do your rewards that you'll be getting for owning your land. But then different gameplay to that is the custom domes, which is what you talked about before. Can you build it however you want? And yes, what we're doing is we're building a number of tools so you can create a different type of gameplay in there. It might just be your headquarters. You might want to build games on there. You might want to buy find and seek, all kinds of different experience. Some of them that you'll be able to find in the main game, some of the mechanics that we'll bring over. But then what you can do on top of that, this is very much your own space. You're not part of any community as such. You are the owner of this. So you can, if you want to, you can NFT gate this. So if you just want your community to come in and do competitions that you set up, maybe they then need your NFT. It doesn't have to be NFT gated, but it is an option. Maybe you want to hold a concert in there. You might get some artists that come in, hold this virtual concert. It's a one-off exclusive. It's only happening in these hours. People can then get that NFT ticket and they can enjoy that experience within yours. And you're obviously probably selling the NFTs, therefore you're gaining yourself some revenue that way. And we'll look at integrating or having ways of maybe for native tokens to go in there. We're obviously cross-chain, so we'll have a cross-chain element to it as well. But yeah, two completely different experiences.
So before we dive into some of the more in-depth questions I've got, you mentioned cross-chain, and this is something that I know has been the goal since the beginning, but I feel like if you look through social media and you look at kind of the way people talk about a lot of this stuff, they're under this impression that you're somehow abandoning Cardano for base. And yeah. I read some of these comments and I'm like, are these robots? Are they like paid plants trying to put out stuff? Because it's obvious that's not the case. What do you guys have to say in terms of like maybe just explaining to some of these people whether they're just hyper dense or they're just like because to me it makes no sense to even come to these accusations. So I can't help but feel like it's a little more pointed for a reason. You know what I mean?
I don't know. People get bent out of shape for whatever reason, and they spew things. There's a lot of people that spew toxic crap all over Twitter all day long, and that's just who they are and what they do, right? But for these people that for whatever reason, maybe they just got the impression we were leaving. I mean, anywhere you look for our entire history, if number one, it's not a zero-sum game. We want to be as appealing and easy to play as possible for all types of crypto users and mainstream. I mean, that is essential to us. We
Especially if you're a landowner.
Seamless for a mainstream gamer to play, and they don't even know they're using blockchain, right?
Right.
That's how.
Exactly.
And in terms of the crypto interoperability, yeah, we started on Cardano. In fact, we started with a Binance token, because the Cardano ecosystem was not ready yet with multi-sig wallets. And then we brought that through a partnership with Chainport. We actually brought that interoperability with Cardano native tokens into play as a bridge that we had built with Chainport for Cardano and for other projects that are on other chains. And so, we've always had the mindset of let's make this as easy as we can for users. I don't know why people got that idea. We're not leaving Cardano. Cardano's our home chain. We love Cardano and we believe in it for a lot of reasons. I could talk to you about that all day long. You and I both, we know why we believe what we believe. And there's other chains that offer other things that are powerful as well. For example, Base is obviously getting millions and millions of users onboarded to that platform through Coinbase. And so that's going to bring a lot of new potential people that, hey, by the way, they might learn about Cardano from us at some point. They might get onboarded in the Cardano ecosystem because guess what? They want land and solace. Well, the only land and solace that's available is Cardano NFT. So you're going to be brought into the Cardano ecosystem, and we're going to have land on Base eventually as well. So it's just, I don't know. It's funny, but we believe in interoperability, and we also believe in Cardano, and we believe in Base, and we're here to stay.
Well, realistically, from a landowner's perspective, the way I see it is, I mean, really from a gameplay perspective, the more blockchains you're able to integrate into this metaverse, the bigger the market, the more people are gathering, and working together, playing together, benefiting one another, and so forth. So it makes no sense to it's obvious that we have a strong sense of tribalism in crypto, right? I am not a fan of anal OS. Okay. I am definitely absolutely against Solana for it's an anagram for okay. Yeah.
I was like, what?
So if you ever came and you said, "Hey, we're gonna open up on Solana," I would probably have a shit and burn the whole building down. Okay,
no, I've never said Solana backwards, but okay, thanks.
Right? It's funny how those letters work out, but and it's like if you're gonna have a blockchain that takes a shit all the time, why not just call it anal OS? I mean, let's be real. No, okay, I'm kidding, sort of. But like, I look at a lot of these the tribal wars. It's like, I know how I feel about this one blockchain. Is it just a feeling, or is there merit in the way I feel the way I feel? And I know that a lot of people feel the same way about other chains, right? And so it's like we have these people that throw a lot of just shit against the wall and see what sticks and what gets people to agree with them and this and that. And it's all kind of a fun game. But, in reality, when you're talking about a metaverse project, I want to see Cornucopias operational on a whole bunch of different blockchains, bringing people in, because if I'm going to be trying to do metaverse type business and I want to try and get more exposure for what I'm accomplishing in the world, I really don't necessarily care what blockchain somebody's on when they're doing it, as long as they're doing it and they're engaging with me. And, there are a lot of people who say, well, what if this was only 100% Cardano? Well, then Base people aren't going to probably bother. And, Ethereum people probably aren't going to bother, because they're going to be waiting around for something like Cornucopias to launch on their chain for them to be proud of. But if anything, this is a big unifier, and I feel like it should be that way. I feel like a metaverse application, a metaverse in general, should be a great unifier against all of the things that separate us. And so, I definitely felt like it's important to kind of address that, because I see, Bitcoin's going up. Good. I might be back in profit on my long trade. That's always nice to see.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, we can compare it with something on Web 2. If you look at, say, Spider-Man, Sony have decided that Spider-Man is exclusive to the PlayStation. That's the only place you're going to be. So if you want to play Spider-Man, you've got to go and buy that PlayStation. And that just restricts the players. If you look at the Unreal Engine 5, which was built by Epic's Games, which built the most successful game ever, which is Fortnite. Fortnite is available on every single platform, and that's why they're so successful, because they have all these players, and players don't just have one maybe they have a console, maybe they have a PC. They like to move around, and if you give them the more opportunities, whether they're out and about or whether they're at home, they will naturally go to the place they want to do. And I think Sony have showed that strategy of trying to lock people into one platform, being maximalist, just doesn't work. Look at the amount of backlash that they're getting at the moment. What they've just done to Helldivers 2. They've just said everyone needs a PlayStation account, a Sony account, and it's just, it's old way of thinking. Modern way of thinking is be inclusive, allow as many people into your game as you want. Blockchain's invisible, the console or the platform should be invisible. If we all think like that, we are all just people playing together.
100%.
I 100% agree with everything you just said. Blockchain should effectively be invisible. It's just it's the reality of those of us that have been a part of it since inception, right? We all want ours to be. It's like we have a kid. You know, I want my kid to be the cutest, the funniest, the smartest, the most achieved, you know what I mean, the most accomplished, and I want to be able to run around and brag about it. It's like I made that, right? And that's a big part of the tribalism. All of us feel like we're making the blockchain that we love by supporting it, being involved in its ecosystem. It's the projects launching on it, and it's almost like raising a child. And I often make the same similarity to crypto overall, still being fairly in its infancy. You know, we're getting ready to send our kids off to college, man, with these ETFs and all of the institutions coming to play. It's like we played a role in kind of building things up to a point as a community overall, which we should all be fairly proud of, because it is all of us that have been playing roles in being a part of blockchain for however many years we've been a part of it, growing the overall crypto nation, the community. And I definitely think it's time that we do see more solidarity and less tribalism. I know I'm just as guilty of it. Because I get triggered when I read another paid article that's trying to take a dump on Cardano while pushing another shit token on the blockchain I don't care for, and I get so bent out of shape about it, and I shouldn't. But I'm just like, I'm so sick of seeing all these sponsored middle fingers, you know what I mean, that are all typically just fabricated and full of garbage to try and push another shitcoin. And that stuff like really pisses me off. But
I'm with you, man. I hear it. And yeah, the short-sighted mentality of a lot. So, I mean, some people are just in it for that quick turnaround, right?
Exactly.
And in terms of time horizon, that's one thing that I love about Cardano is that they're building it for the long haul, to be around for the years to come and to be scalable and governed and decentralized and all of those things together. But it does get a lot of flack because of the time to market in many ways. But that being said, like, that's what also gives it a foundation made of stone, you know? And so you might see a lot of these other projects that offer certain things that are incredibly flashy and good, but will they stand the test of time? We don't know. And well,
we do know they're not going to stand the test.
I just know that I can learn as much as I can and make decisions around what do we think is the best for Cornucopias, because like Rob said, it is 100% about the end user. We want them to have an amazing experience and a fun experience playing our game and add value in that way. Does the chain matter? Nope.
And you can just stick
to some degree. It does. I definitely want my NFTs and my assets on a blockchain that I don't have to worry about shutting down on me, or being so bogged down that I can't get.
And you can do that. You know, you can just stick on one chain. You don't have to go on all the other chains to play our game. You can just stick on one. But also, what people don't understand is, you know, we've just come back from Consensus literally a few days ago.
I saw the pictures. Those were cool.
Yeah. Oh, it was a really fun event, and not many people had heard of us there, but everybody came over and they had a chat. And we also then did a podcast with friends with Andy, and he's never been on the Cardano blockchain whatsoever. He's from Ethereum, and he said, "I'm going to create a Cardano wallet because I want some land, I want some
Your
vehicle."
friend Andy,
our friend Andy. So going on other chains doesn't mean to say you're moving away. You're actually onboarding. So we know we've onboarded people into the Cardano ecosystem, and we will onboard them the other way. So it's cross-chain and cross-pollinate.
Yeah. What you're basically saying is you're both bi chain. Hey, we started talking inclusivity, and I thought we might as well just throw out some.
No problem with that, but negative.
You know, we got to keep it interesting. All right, so explain this node system, because we're getting into this whole, you know, nodes and file storage and all of this stuff. And I bought like 8 of these damn node NFTs, and I haven't read anything yet. I've been so bogged down with my own game. and just doing everything I've been doing. We just finished our play that we just debuted the other night, and it's like I've been so just consumed, and I'm like, I want to know what these damn nodes are that I now own. What can I do with them, and like, how is it going to make me stupid rich? I'm kidding.
I mean, I would say to anyone listening, please do your own research before you ape into any project.
My risk tolerance is a little better, I think, than most, but I don't feel like it's very risky when it comes to Cornucopias. I hear something, I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up, I'll figure it out later.
Well, to be fair, you've known us for 3 years, so it's not like you've just seen something and gone straight in.
Right.
Yeah. And we're here for the long haul.
Nodes, so I've got 8 of these node NFTs. Explain to me why I have them and what I'm going to be able to do with them.
Sure, I'll start it off, and then I think Rob can get into the more detailed technical aspects that need to be covered. But the primary use case for these nodes, for these particular file node licenses, are to assist in user onboarding. So the downloading of the game. So now instead of game files are incredibly large, and you'll be downloading that to your PC. That's a large file. You can, instead of having one single point of error, one provider, you now have node license holders that are providing the infrastructure and the game download in a shared way in parallel to one another. So it means potentially significantly faster download speeds. It means a reduced amount of errors as a result of being faster. So there's a better user onboarding experience, and it means no single point of failure. So we are more and more decentralized by offering this, and that just improves the quality overall. So that is the number one, again, back to the end user, providing as much value as possible for the end user. And the way that we are building our brand, we want them to have a great experience all the way through in every aspect of the game. In our community, we want to keep it positive. Playing the game, positive, like a great gaming experience. And then with onboarding and the process to get going, we want that to be a remarkable experience as well. So that's what these nodes are about. And we're paying you guys to help to run those nodes. So there are rewards allocated from the Cornucopias tokenomics that go to rewarding you guys for helping us with the infrastructure. And so it's a cool thing. And we've structured it really well. We've structured it where you can come in at whatever level you want price-wise for the most part. Starts at $300 per node license, or right around there. I'm not sure exactly where it's at right now because it gets more expensive the more we sell. But the price point is pretty solid. I think I've seen a lot of nodes out there that are selling for, 5,000 plus for just one node. Well, we wanted to get it as spread out as possible. And it also means you can operate, up to like 50 nodes from your computer, I believe. Don't hold us to that exact number, but you can operate quite a few nodes. Anyway, Rob can get into more of the details, but that's the macro level of what's going on and why. And actually, the one final thing I'll say there is it's available until June 30th. That's when we're going to cut off sales at midnight or whatever, because we have to deliver these node NFTs to the early phase participants and start delivering on rewards on July 1st. So that's 25 days away.
I'm like looking at I'm looking at JPEG store right now to see what the land is going for. And I might be picking up a bunch, man. I mean, it's unrelated, but I'm like, I might be grabbing some of this because, yeah, sorry. I'm surprised to see, like, holy shit.
What these nodes are about. Wait, what about that land again?
I might just go buy all of Solus 1 and just sit back.
They are kind of related. Like Josh said, you know what the land does. That the land, you're being a landowner, you're providing infrastructure for our game because you're having a plot of land that other players can come on and do crafting. So you're providing infrastructure there, just like the nodes are. The nodes are providing infrastructure. We could quite happily set up a CDN with Amazon, and we just pay Amazon just to distribute these files. But by doing it this way, I mean, when we set it up like 18 months ago, when we first started planning these and looking into it, that we just thought, you know, this is natural to distribute these big files and give back to our community. When we look at today, and especially again when we go to Consensus, there is so many booths at Consensus that were pushing this new buzzword called Dpin, which stands for decentralized physical infrastructure, and that's what these nodes are. The community is running these nodes that will help to download the game faster and faster, because in gaming, in Web 2, there's a real problem. You turn your machine on a Friday, Saturday night, you want to play with your friends, you press play, and the first thing it does is try and download this huge game for about an hour to 2 hours.
And that's just the installer. Then you got to update the damn thing. So it takes forever, I know.
So the idea of our nodes is that they will try and download this game from as many as possible, as quick as possible. And if we can download that game in 5 to 15 minutes, I mean, you'll have a much better onboarding experience.
Okay. So that alone is going to allow me to set up the node to share the files. Is that something that is, I could use like, I could use AWS if I wanted, right? Like, could I use whatever method I want to maintain my file and be a part of that network?
Yeah.
Does it have to be like on my PC as part of my game installation?
We'll be providing instructions on how to set that up and how to update that node, and it'll be in the form of a Docker image. So we're building this again with two types of node operator in mind. One of them has some skills, some basic skills. So you'll be able to set this up on either on your home PC, or we're doing a Linux version and a Windows version. So you'll be able to host it on a VPS as well. So that's for people that want to get involved and might have some technical knowledge, but also for those that have no technical knowledge or just in fact don't plan on wanting the responsibility of running one of these nodes 24 hours a day. We are allowing them to become a delegate. So we'll have an annual subscription, and what they can do with that subscription is then they can delegate then their NFT node license to a pool of their choice. So for example, you said you've got 8, and 8 is the minimum that you need to have a public node. People will now be able to look for, probably you're going to call it the Crow node or something like that. And if you've got a space on your node,
it'll be the baby Crow, because I've already got a Crow node. This will be baby Crow.
Okay, well, a baby Crow node, then they'll be able to delegate to you, and you will get rewards for your 8 nodes, and you can have up to 10 nodes, and every one of those nodes, and this is a bit of alpha. What we've announced to date is that every one of those nodes allows you to have 2 delegates. Well, we've now been doing some testing, and we're opening that up now. So every one of your nodes now allows you to have 4 nodes. So if you've got 8 nodes, you can now have
delegates.
Yeah, if you've got 8 nodes, you can now have up to 32 delegates. So you'll be receiving rewards. They will be receiving rewards because you're running it on their behalf, and you will be getting extra rewards for running it for them. So there's incentives for the node pool operator and for the delegate.
Okay. I am because I'm thinking about this. Hold on, let me
we have a diagram that maybe you can share.
Yeah, so here we go. There we go. You took everybody off. I did have hold on here. There we go. Now all 3 of us are back on, and you got the diagram. Public pool, initially available for Linux, recommended, and Windows. Okay.
Yeah, so you can run it on either or. So what this is showing is in yellow is the nodes that you own yourself. So these are in your wallet. They can be on Base, or they can be in Cardano, and they can be a mixture, because what you're doing is you're connecting your various wallets to your player account, and we will know. So we don't actually mind where it's at. So if you have 8, which is up to that dotted line, that will allow you to have, if you want to be a public pool operator, you don't have to. These could just be your own nodes.
Is there any reason why I wouldn't want to be?
you might just you might not want to run your pool all the time. I don't. There might be various reasons. You might not want the responsibility. You might not. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I would run one. I'm sure there's reasons why people may not want to run them. But you get that choice, and that's the main thing. I mean, maybe you've got
time. You know, it takes time. You have to figure out how to do it. So some aren't in that camp of being technically inclined, and some are. So either way works, because the cost to pay somebody to run the node for you and delegate to them, that cost is going to be, you know, market cost for whatever's out there. So we have some research to do in that regard to figure out the price point, but we're not going to be abnormally priced for something like that.
Maybe let's say you've got 30 nodes of your own. You might just want to run them all just in one place, because you'll get more rewards for having your own node than you will have delegates. But if you wanted to then if you've got 30 and then you wanted lots of delegates, well, then you'd have to open up 3 pools. But if you did open up 3 pools, then you can get 30 times 4, so you can get up to 120 delegates. So you've got different tactics, different strategy, depending on how you want to set up and run your nodes.
So when are the nodes officially going to roll out?
So that phase 1. So this is important. We're rolling them out in different phases. Phase 1 is going live on July the 1st. And all you need to do on July
25 days ish.
Yep. All you will need to do, whether you want to be a node operator or a delegate, whichever route you want to go down, you just need to. We will mint the NFT on that day, and we will distribute it to you. You need to connect your wallet to the Cornucopias player account. There will be a new node interface, and you just register those nodes. And then in phase 1, every node that has been registered will get full rewards. While we're still building in the background and testing, everyone will get those full rewards. You're not running any software. All you've done is register that node. We will then go to phase 2, and in phase 2, as we're slowly rolling out, we will invite those that want to be node operators to now install the Docker software, and we'll show you how to do that. And we'll be really lenient in the early days, because we know it's new for you guys. It'll be new for us, and there'll be more rewards going on then. But then that will give people then the opportunity to subscribe to the node service if they want to be, and then delegate to the different pools. So that phase 2 will happen. I don't know if that will be over weeks or months, however that works out. And then the final phase 3, is where everything goes live. And that's when the rewards will then be very much dependent on the performance of your pool. So if your pool's up and running and then you turn it off for 2 or 3 days, well, then all your rewards will obviously stop. So it's a 3-phased approach. All rewards to everyone is registered phase 1. Phase 2 will be more lenient with pools that are on and off, because we're learning as well as you guys are learning. And then phase 3, which hopefully should be by the end of the year, then it's, you know, responsibility is there.
Okay. I was just going to let everybody know also, I just bought another large mythic land.
Nice.
Yeah, I really did. There it is. One NFT successfully swept. So I don't know. Is that how much do you think I have enough? If I've got 2 large mythics, I've got a dome, and I know I have like a rare medium. I think it's purple, whatever that was, and then I think I have a rare small. Like, do you think that's enough, or should
we can't give you no mythical advice, I'm afraid.
You can't give me mythical advice. I feel like I don't know. I don't collect NFTs. Like it's not like NFTs have never been my thing, but land is always a good thing. So
are you digitally diversified?
Yeah.
You know, great. I mean, you never know. You never know what
you have responsibilities with that land. I mean, you'll need to allow players to go on that. There'll be some maintenance if you have a lot of buildings. So, you know, you will have there is there is responsibility for running infrastructure.
100%. Yeah.
You go to
So
the airport.
it requires active participation in the game, and so it's going to be fun in how it does that and how we enable that and cause you to participate in the game to get your land rewards. It's
I mean, that's fine by me. And on top of that, you know, it's like I'll probably either be a part of a guild of some kind, or I'll even start like the Crow's Nest Guild and have, you know, people help with different things. You know, I mean,
yeah, do it.
Fine by me. I'm fine with that.
Come on in.
Well, I think at the moment you've got about 4 monitors, haven't you? So I mean, if you want to buy hundreds and hundreds of land, what you need to do is get one of those circular desks where you've got maybe 20 screens above you, 20, you know, like a trading desk. And
You're
then
right.
just keep moving around and managing all your land, and it'll be fun. That'll be great to watch live stream.
I mean, dude, I have so much screen real estate because I've always got 10 different projects I'm working on. You know, I've got AI art going over here. I've got AI music going over here. I've got my YouTube channel block. I've got, you know, it looks like a little small news station, even though it's just, I get bored and when things get monotonous, I start to brain fry. So I have to keep my mind like, okay, click here, do this. And then I'm going to do that for 20 minutes. And then I'm looking over here and I do that. And then I just basically do that from the time I wake up to the time and it's dinner. My wife says, okay, it's time for Netflix. And then
when everything's live, you won't get bored in Cornucopias. Promise.
Yeah. Oh, I don't expect I will. I'm looking forward to it. You know, one is just in the grand scheme of bandwidth, right? I'm curious if they're, you know, you're basically decentralizing. We're not all rich like you. I'm not that rich. It just cost me 5,600 ADA. That's all it was. It's like, it's not that expensive, really. Now, granted, maybe by the end of the year, I might have dropped 50 grand on a piece of land. I don't, but you know, as of right now, it is what it is.
Well, he did just buy the most expensive rarity, so there's plenty of other options too. But
I know. Like if you look at the small on the market, some of these are like 100 ADA. Like there's no reason why every car. I seriously think there's no reason why every Cardano holder shouldn't at least have a small plot in Cornucopias waiting. That's just my opinion. It's not financial advice. But like if you're into gaming or if you just want to own a piece of history, I think it's a pretty big deal because I really do think Cornucopias is going to be historical at some point. Now you have the decentralization of the, you know, file storage. Has there been any thought about running like peer-to-peer networks to operate the game so that it's kind of independent of like an AWS or any kind of like centralized cloud system or whatever? Is there any feasibility in that yet today? Or is that just kind of like there's just too much to try and do to pull that off?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good question, but there's two things to think about there. One of them is gaming is fast. We could be up hitting that database, you know, every 10 seconds, every 30 seconds, every 1 minute. And when we go to scale, 10,000, 100,000 people, it would be amazing to think that all the gameplay was decentralized. But would you want to press save on your game and then realize that somebody around the corner from you has just switched their laptop off and gone for the tea or the Wi-Fi is down? So we will have a hybrid approach. NFT, I mean, for me, should be ownership. But when you're running a fast-paced AAA modern game, what you want is responsiveness. You need some kind of form of centralization, and at the moment, no blockchain will be able to do that. And there's transaction fees for starters. Who wants to pay every time you got to save? So you have to use blockchain responsibly. Otherwise, you won't get the adoption. Nobody wants to pay for the idea of blockchain and decentralization, really. Not if you want to.
When I think about something like that, those are all good points. I'm thinking about it in terms of, let's say you guys are on the next Titanic, right? The entire dev team of Cornucopias is on the Titanic. but the game is launched.
I hope not.
Everybody's playing it, loving it. We all own land. It's going. It's crushing it. Everybody's interested. We all love it. And then you guys hit an iceberg. Wouldn't it? I look at it like how would the game continue to move on beyond, you know, if the guys that are running it in the server house or whatever, and they go away, something happens to them, or I guess ultimately what I'm thinking about is, as grim as that sounded, it's more like, when are we going to have a metaverse platform that's truly operated and controlled by the community playing it, or just supporting it, so that it's off of the shelf of these big, you know, Amazons or Microsoft or any of these people that could just flip a switch and shut it off because, you know, whatever, you know, you guys said whatever crazy reason they could come up with over between now and 2030, you know, oh, well, this game doesn't fall in line with the new norm or the new social metrics of the day because all these crazy people got us to like champion it, and you don't play along with that. So we don't think anybody should play you. We want to cancel you. Because I see that as being a real potential threat, because we're seeing it across all mediums nowadays, where it's just like everybody has some problem. And then the question is, how much noise can they raise about what they perceive to be a problem based off of their emotional disconnect to the real world, or like whatever the hell's going on. They smoke too much crack. I don't know, like whatever these people are doing to create all these problems. And I worry about what's next on the list. Like, you know what I mean? And so how can you avoid being under the thumb of any particular group or country or whatever that might want to restrict or keep things, you know, reined in to some degree? What happens if Cornucopias' economy gets so big that it becomes a threat to anybody, and they decide, you know what, we want to geo-lock you out of that game because it's too successful. We don't think you should be a part of it. We don't want you making money in that metaverse. How do you police that? How do you avoid that kind of stuff from happening?
Well, I mean, first of all, if it comes down to one of the big groups, that's the service provider, the hosting, that's, you know, all of that, you know, if that was to go down, then there's a lot bigger problems at play, and it puts ours in perspective, in a different kind of perspective, right? So if we were to lose there with the provider that we're going to be using, that's a whole nother issue, you know. Secondly, I think our aim is, our aim is definitely to gradually decentralize over time as much as possible. And that just takes time. So ideally, yes, this is something that's like a blockchain that can't be turned off in the future. But there's a lot of elements to that, and there's a lot of things that need to happen. And so first of all, we got to build a game that people want to love and that they want to play. I mean, that is priority number one. Making it bulletproof through things that you're talking about comes later, when it comes time that, okay, yeah, we've proven this game. We've got people flooding in. Now let's button this thing down and make it as bulletproof as we can, so we don't have dependencies on centralized entities that might adversely affect our risk tolerance, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And there's so many areas how, you know, we've thought about this, how we will get there. We'll obviously get there in steps. We need to wait for some technology to catch up, but the nodes is the very first step of that journey. What our something we will do in the future, we will have additional nodes, and some of those nodes, as we've got actually in the wiki, they will be game server nodes. So those will have the capability of running peer to peer. How those will start is those will start with custom domes, not from day one, because the custom domes will be centrally, but then over time those custom domes will have different experiences hosted by the players, so they will be decentralized. You'll be going peer to peer to those hosts, and we will learn those lessons from the infrastructure that we're building up with these basic nodes at the moment.
That's beautiful. And
then also what you'll be able to do is, you know, we're in an era now where streaming is possible, so you will be able to rent out your PC, your graphics card. We can do streaming at the moment. This is all built into Unreal Engine, where you can stream. So a player will be able to connect peer to peer to your machine. They'll be able to use your GPU without you having control of it, because it's all completely secure and managed, so you won't be able to access what they're doing at all. But they'll be able to then use your shared compute, and they will be able to play the game via a web browser. So whether you're on a Mac, whether you're on a mobile phone, whether you're on a PC, whether you're on a console, whether you're on any kind of calculator in them, whether you're in the future you're on a fridge that has an LED on it, as long as it's got a web browser on, you will be able to access some kind of remote compute, and that will all be decentralized. It'll all be peer-to-peer, and it'll be built on the top of this node infrastructure that we're building now.
So if I go on vacation, I'll be able to manage my land on my phone.
Absolutely, yeah, you'll be able to play it on the in fact, on the plane, because you get Wi-Fi on the planes now.
In fact, that's one of the first apps that we conceptualized. Was on a trip, my first trip to Manchester, to meet the team there for a little retreat that we did. We broke into workshops, and one of the first apps we conceptualized there was managing your land and managing different things within Cornucopias from your mobile phone. Yeah, that's again core game loop and priorities, and then building out all those teams accordingly. But yeah, these are things that are that was a little bit of alpha there, but these are things to come.
Yeah, I need to rein it back. Although we're working on things and we do have working prototypes, there's no announcement there, nothing that's going to happen this year.
You didn't hear anything today, folks. This doesn't exist. This is not real. No, that's good stuff. And I saw somebody say something about some of it being confusing. And, ultimately I remember how when back in the day, not that I ever did this, but back in the day when people used to pirate video games all the time, and they would pull them off Pirate Bay, right? So anytime you wanted expensive software or video games and movies, like whatever, you go to Pirate Bay, and they got into so much trouble that they ended up putting like a satellite up in, they put their entire system on a satellite so they can run it without ever having to worry about it getting shut down. And I'm just like, you just never know. And it's not necessarily the idea that the game should be decentralized in that fashion, because I want, everybody to be able to change the game however they want. That's not what I mean when I think of decentralization of Cornucopias. I just mean, what if something bad does happen, and for whatever reason the player base drops to a point where it's not as profitable to maintain the servers for a while? Rather than the game go away, whether it's temporarily or whatever, it's still ultimately finding ways to maintain and run itself for those that still want to be active anywhere in the world. Yeah. I just think that is the future of gaming. It's while we're being pushed more consistently into more centralized control with a lot of these terms like cloud-based storage and this and that, cloud-based doesn't really mean shit. All it means is that, you've got multiple servers in one central location, or even a handful of central locations, and the files are all being stored and organized therein. But realistically, it's not like decentralized or anything. And there's still just a couple points of failure for the most part.
Cloud just means somebody else's PC. But at the heart of everything we do is we want to make it simple. So just like the blockchain will be invisible, when we talk about nodes and hosting it on other people's PCs and all that, it will be completely invisible. What you will go onto your PC or your device, and you'll just say play Cornucopias, and whatever happens with the infrastructure, that will all happen. Your user experience, you'll just be playing the game. You don't need to know. But if you are technical and you want to know, then obviously you will know. But yeah, at heart is onboarding the majority of players which don't need no technical barriers to play our game. That's why our game is always going to be free to play. You don't need NFTs. NFTs is just something as you're playing the game. If you learn about NFTs and how they can benefit player ownership, and you might want to sell your skins or sell your vehicles, we will gently introduce that to you. We won't be throwing it down your neck. Ours is a game. It's not crypto first. Look at all this, get a wallet, seed phrase, none of that. It's here's a game, play it. If you enjoy it, learn a little bit more.
I've got one other question, because I know we covered a lot of stuff at the front of this interview, but or talk. But let's say that the my big dome, it's all ready and I can start building or whatever. Am I going to be building that dome with the resources that I'm either buying or acquiring from the lands down on Solus? So that it's like, do you need resource? Like, oh, I need a wall. Well, this wall takes this many resources of this type to be able to complete the wall.
Some of that I can't answer right now, but I will say this: you do get 3 building kits with the custom dome NFT, so you'll have access to those 3 building kits, which will include a variety of resources and things that you can use for sure. So that's definitely out of the box part of the custom dome sale. But there will be in the future additional building kits that you can purchase. So we'll have a variety of building kits, and you can purchase those, and that'll come with some raw materials, etc. Now, when it comes to shipping back and forth and carrying raw materials from Solace to custom domes, I can't answer that right now.
No alpha.
We already know there's going to be transport. There's no way you're building this game without
whether it's to and from
flying
custom domes
transport ships.
Very, very soon.
There's definitely transport of materials.
When we release Solace, not next build, the one after, you will see transport. You'll be able to fly from dome to dome. It's ready.
Yeah, the World Game Loop is the World Travel Loop is coming along quite nicely, where you fly.
People are going to make a business out of just like an ETH Online
the parking garage, and then you go up into the lobby, and then you take a tram to where you want to enter into Solace. That's pretty sweet.
In fact, just another feature that we just demoed at Consensus was the leaderboards. Now, so the leaderboards now, when you're racing or gathering holocaches, you're actually building your way up a leaderboard, which leads into esports. So our racing game over the next few months, we're going to be having all these competitions that are NFT based, where you'll be able to enter competitions and earn Kopi token, which is great for onboarding people, because obviously you need to have some incentives with competitions. So those start with those leaderboards, and then that will evolve into fishing. When we have fishing will be an esports league and other parts. So we'll have all kinds of different experiences and games within games, all within this that we will release over the next year or so. It's going to be really exciting next 6 months of delivery.
All right, I want to ask maybe one more question, because the more we talk, the more this is the beauty
You'll
of
have to have us back on.
Being so interested and like in love with this game, I can kind of throw you guys off, because I'm genuinely into this, like hook, line, and sinker. So we get to talking, and then you drop little alpha bits you wouldn't drop to somebody interviewing you that's like not as into this shit as I am. So I like catching you guys off guard a little bit. Makes this a little interesting.
No, it's good. I never leak anything, so you've really caught me.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm running around land and Solace or whatever. We do the land grab. Now I know that a lot of the building stuff, the building mechanics are going to be coming later, but will I be able to create like stockpiles of my own? Like, let's say I just want to go out and mine today, even though I can't use it to build anything yet. Am I going to be able to start building my own stockpiles in preparation for when building does come?
I think
yes.
so. Yeah.
And we have an inventory system for stockpiling. So that was recently launched, and you go around and you gather, and there's an inventory system already developed. I mean, I think as with everything, it's at a phase. It's at the phase that it's in right now, and we have a longer term vision for it. But we definitely have an inventory system where you can pull in goods and store goods. And there's eventually going to be, like you said, means of there's a reason that the bubble jet has more space in it, right? And certain vehicles in Cornucopias will have more cargo space because you might want to use that to move something to somewhere else. There's definitely going to be things like that, and then eventually there's going to be mounts where you can move things around as well. So yeah, this is all in discussions and final planning as well.
Okay.
And anything we say is subject to change. But
one of these days, I'm gonna send you guys a paper of everything that I've worked up for the stuff I've been telling you I want to do for a while.
Can and can't do. Red X's all over it.
And then when you tell me, well, this isn't available yet, and I'm gonna say, okay, so what's it gonna cost me to like have you guys hire somebody to just do this?
I want this now. Give it.
Yeah. You know how I roll.
We wanted all this as quickly as you do. It's a game of patience.
We've got 53 team members now, so we're working as fast as we can, but we have restrictions. We don't want thousands too soon.
I think my system will be easy to implement. And actually, I really don't think it'll take that much. I really don't. But I think it'll add a whole new element to like use for all of the stuff. Because I haven't told anybody really what I wanted to do either. And I'm not going to put it out there. But I've told you guys. You guys know what the hell I want to do. And it's coming, damn it. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen one way or another. If I have to kidnap one of you guys and bring them over here, I'll be like, here you go. You got everything you need.
And we'll be playing your game as well. I've seen some early screenshots. That looks really good.
It's really coming along. It really is. I'm getting more and more excited. I'm actually supposed to have a full, like every week it makes new leaps. So I'm actually really excited about it. I can't wait to play it myself. I'm actually grinding artwork. That's one of the things I'm doing is I'm grinding out like another 250 cards for the first set. So
Awesome.
I've got a question for you, but let's say you're on the Titanic and everything goes down. People will be able to play.
Everybody shit out of luck because I don't. My game's not decentralized. I mean, it is NFTs, but yeah, once I'm gone, it's not going to run itself. Touche, Rob. Touche.
Well done.
Is there anything else that you guys want to address? Anything that we didn't cover that we should?
I don't think so, man. I mean, there's always a lot, but I'm running short on time at this point. I'm trying to think. I mean, the node sale, you covered that. The land grab, these are two really key things. The node sale being the most time pressing. You know, we've got 25 days left for that. So
I've been throwing my link in the chat.
You're going to provide a link to this for those that have watched this. I assume you are.
Yeah, I've thrown it in chat. I just threw it in chat again. It's not in the description yet, but I'll throw it in there.
Yeah.
How much will it rely on player-made content versus pre-made games? I'm assuming they're talking about like Solus and things.
Two different experiences. So you know, some is very, very curated. The other is player-based. And in the future, we will have assets where players will be able to create their own assets as well. And those will be NFTs. But again, those are in the future, way in the future.
Okay.
We will have a Kopi Cafe, I think, is coming out today. It's the weekly podcast that Josh and myself do. I would say watch that because that's got more footage of Solus that's coming out in a month or so. A different aspect of Solus that nobody's seen before that actually leaked to us in Austin.
Yeah, that was just amazing. The water technology and some of the cinematic shots that were created inside of Cornucopias for a quick short to demo this water tech. It's unbelievable, mind-blowing. So yeah, Jason, definitely check that out. I think you'll really be impressed with the.
Yeah, I watch those generally, and the stuff that's just brewing on this thing is unbelievable. It just you know what my problem is? My problem is that the more I keep tabs on what you guys are doing, the more amped up I get and the more frustrated I get that I can't just go out and do the shit right now.
I just think,
you know what, fuck that. I'm done. I'm not looking again. You guys are just teasing the hell out of me. This is like one big strip club. It's like, you know, it's like, what's the point? I can't, there's nothing you can do with this. I get to see it. It looks great, but I can't play with it.
We've got files this big and we've only delivered this much so far. We're sat on it. Which order do we build it in? We're so frustrated.
I get it, man. We're in the same boat with you.
Yeah, I know. Because you guys are coordinating it, but you guys are at the mercy of all the devs too. You're just waiting for your updates. I do the same thing with my game. I'm like, I want to play this. What's new? It's tomorrow. There's going to be a new build I'll send you, and it's like, I want to do it now. Yep. So look, guys, I'm excited as usual. I mean, I always am. I've been a part of it. Like I was just telling him, like, I have my Kopi tokens. I haven't sold a thing. I told him it's pointless for me to sell my tokens. So at least $1 to $2. That's what I'm waiting for. And however long that happens, if it ever happens, who knows? But you know, this is a long play for me. Like the land I'm buying, I might even make it a point to buy like one piece of land, like once a week or once every couple of weeks or something, and just. I don't know. You never know. We'll see. Because I see this once you launch, then I see like the sky being the limit, because then you're going to be getting so much feedback, and then it's about maintaining and expanding on what it's capable of. And I just want to be prepared for whatever that may be, because so far I think you guys are on the hell of a right track. So
well, I mean, if you get all the mythics and you buy all the land in one district, I mean, we'd consider renaming it.
Eminent domain. All right. Well, hey, I live in Florida. That's just not going to work. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming on, and I'm looking forward to the video tonight. I'm going to check it out and see what's new.
Yeah, please do. Always good to see you, man. Good.
Of course. I'll be bugging you guys in chat soon enough. And for those of you guys joining, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share the video around. Spread the love. Let's continue building this Cornucopias community, because a lot of stuff's in the works and a lot of stuff is coming. And the more people we have to share it with each other, the better. Even on cross chain. Stop freaking out, people. It's silly. Until next time, guys, grow your coins, and I'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.